Hey guys, it's Tim Shermack, and welcome back to another episode of the Platform Marketing Show. Today I'm joined by Kymerlee Music from Brunswick, Georgia. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Kymerlee has a pretty cool career arc, story of how she got into real estate and also how quickly she built her business when she got into real estate. But let's just kind of lay the foundation right away of where's your business at right now, Kim?
So right now I'm a broker. I've been a broker for a little under 2 years in the coastal Georgia area, so East Coast, right before Florida. And I have built it in under 2 years to 25 agents with 3 admin staff, and I'm still in production myself. I'm on track to do about 20 million in volume this year, with an average price point about 350,000.
So you're selling a lot of houses.
Anywhere between 46 to 75, give or take.
So your personal production is on pace for 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then your team is also going to sell
Roughly
however
60
many
million,
homes
220 transactions, what we project.
with the whole team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you haven't been in real estate for a long time. I mean, how many full years have you been a realtor now?
I just hit my 5th year about a month ago.
And what were you doing before that?
Paramedic firefighter. I was an acting officer lieutenant with my county EMS job. And then I left the fire service and did just EMS with Ware County EMS.
So really that had absolutely nothing to do with being a real
Well,
estate
actually
agent.
everything to do with being a real estate agent, oddly enough. So as a 911 paramedic, you are involved in the most traumatic aspect of somebody's life. And it's in a very vulnerable state those patients are in. And rolling that over into my real estate career, there's never a hard conversation anymore, right? The hardest conversation I've ever had is telling someone their loved one has passed away. So when it comes to the real estate world, I'm able to have those hard, critical conversations in a way that brings comfort to our buyers and sellers. So really, I think EMS has everything to do with real estate.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you've had to tell a parent or a family member that their child has died, that's not even in the same emotional stratosphere as telling a seller, hey, I think we need to reduce the price.
Right.
It's not even close to as high stakes or emotional. So, okay, that makes sense. But the point I was going for there was that you've built this incredible business in the last 5 years. I mean, like, you've reached a point in your personal production after, or actually inside of just 5 years that many agents don't get to in 20 years, and that you're on pace to sell 20 million. And you've built this team that's obviously selling a bunch of homes at your brokerage beyond your personal production. But your previous job, it wasn't like you came to real estate from lending, or you came to real estate from working at a new builder or some adjacent industry that gave you a bunch of those contacts. Or often we see really successful agents are often former teachers or people that I've seen pastors become really successful agents. And what that all has in common is that they had a pretty robust sphere of influence. Right. If you used to be a teacher or a pastor or something like that, a lot of people. And so you can carry those relationships with you into being a realtor. And it kind of gives you a foundation to build your business off of. You didn't really have that going from being a paramedic and a firefighter into being a real estate agent. You really have built your business from scratch.
I took my class online, took me roughly 4 days, and within 8 days I was licensed and ready to rock and roll as a brand new baby real estate agent.
And while we're on the intro of this episode here and we're still establishing how cool and interesting you are, I also have to mention that you're also a barrel racer. You compete in rodeo, and you used to be a D1 swimmer.
I swam competitively for 14 years, made it to Olympic trials. I unfortunately blew out my shoulder. I was a butterflyer. And so that ended that career. And I moved forward with EMS and barrel racing.
And then you're like, well, I'm getting bored with rodeo and being a paramedic. I guess I'll start a career
in real
estate.
I still do EMS part-time. I still work a shift twice a month because it's a passion of mine. My husband actually is the one that said, you need to do real estate. And I called a friend of mine who sold me a house, and I said, what's real estate all about? And she said, it's a life-changing career. And that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, that is something I wanted to discuss, because I know you mentioned that to me before, that, hey, I'm the top 1% of producers. I'm personally selling 20 million. I have this big team that's selling a ton of houses as well. But I think every month I'd still like to be a part-time paramedic, just to kind of give back to the community and not ever get to this point where I think I'm too good to do certain things, like, oh, I'm making all this money now I'm not going to serve the community. in that way. I think that's really cool and honorable, and it's probably kept you grounded because
Keeps me
you're working shifts with people who are making whatever paramedics make $15 an hour. I mean,
17
it's
to
obviously,
23 an hour.
yeah, it's not a lot of money. You're doing this just because you're passionate about your community, and then you take off the uniform and go back to being a realtor, and all of
Mhm.
a sudden you're in this career where you're on pace to bring in $500,000 a year in GCI. Not a lot of people in those positions where they're making $500,000 a year, whether you're a hotshot corporate lawyer or you're a top realtor like you are. Not a lot of those people are working shifts as paramedics. I think that really speaks to your character, that you truly do care about your community, because
Mhm.
obviously a big part of the platform strategy, and we'll get talking about marketing and platform here eventually, is you need to care about your community. It's about creating marketing content that's not necessarily always about you, but it's about the community, right? And you just happen to kind of be the tour guide. You are the narrator of that content, but a lot of the content isn't about you, it's about the community. So it's certainly helpful for people like you that you don't have to fake it.
Right.
You obviously do care about Brunswick and the greater community that you serve there in Georgia. So you're not having to fake being involved in the community because you actually are. That's really cool. And you should get all the credit.
Well, thank you. It's something I love to do.
So how did you first discover Platform? Was it a referral, or did you see one of our Facebook ads, or how did you get connected with Platform?
So Kara and I are good friends. Everyone knows Kara Newton, the Pink Queen. We are friends, and me and her kind of beat back off of each other. So I was diving more into my marketing, whereas she was diving more into systems and building a brokerage or starting up her brokerage. And so I kind of mentored her on, girl, just do it, right? Just do the brokerage, just do the thing. You can suffice on your own. You've got a good group and community of people. And I started asking her, well, how are you doing all of this? And she led me into you guys and sent me her account manager to see if my market share was available. And sure enough, it was. And I just jumped in feet first. I find the calm in the chaos.
I didn't know that. So you were a referral from Kara Newton, and you signed up as of this recording. You've been in Platform for about 8 months, almost 9 months. What have you noticed in terms of how your business or how your brand in your community has changed over the last year, like before and after starting this platform strategy?
So now I can run into stores because we have a smaller community. We're about 80,000 in population just for Glenn County. So I've been noticed in stores and church. And just today, a lender who came to speak to our brokerage, who I've never met, was like, you are all over my Facebook. Like I see you every day, all day, as I'm scrolling through my feed. So I've really just become, as we would all say, 5 Mile famous, which is the goal, right? And putting out the videos, it's really built credibility for my business and who I am as a listing agent. So when I go up to sellers, I can say, here's my feed. You're going to get the real, authentic me no matter what time of day it is. If you tap into my personal Facebook page, you're going to see me for who I am. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And 9 times out of 10, because of the community involvement and the marketing you guys do help me with and the brainstorming ideas, it's made me become a market leader.
How would you describe the platform strategy in your own words? Like if some agent was asking, hey, I heard about this platform thing, but I don't really know what it is. What is this platform marketing strategy? In your own words, Kim, how would you describe it?
So for me, it's really a tool in my tool bag, but it's more or less a family, right? So one, we have that community and we beep bop ideas off of each other. So I have a very creative mind, but some days I struggle. So I can easily call Allie and be like, Allie, look, I need help. Help me brainstorm this. And she's there. So it's like having a mentorship program, a coaching program, a marketing company, and a family all in one. So you always have somebody there to help you, whether it's 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the evening. I can post on that Facebook group and somebody's going to respond.
And for those listening, Allie is Kymerlee's account manager at Platform. So all of our clients have a dedicated account manager, and it's not a call support rep where it's someone in India with a headset or something. It's an actual American. Usually most of our account managers have about 20 to 25 clients they work with. So they'll get to know you.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just one of 120 people they work with, right? They'll really get to know you, your market, your personality, what you're passionate about, because they'll help you write custom ads for your market that actually kind of exhibit your
Mm-hmm.
personality and what you're into. So anyways, I just wanted to explain for those listening who aren't familiar. If she mentioned Allie, Allie is her platform account manager.
That's right. Yeah. And she handles all of my crazy ideas and she's all for them. most of the time.
What is the coolest ad that you've done so far with platform? If you could just pick one or two of what you think are the most successful ads that you've put out there that just got a lot of engagement or got people buzzing in the community talking about you, what one or two ads immediately come to mind?
My favorite ad was the small business. So God made a small business owner. So I am big with supporting our small businesses, anyways, whether it be sponsorship or just shopping local and things like that. My
Sure.
husband could probably shoot me for how many times I'm like, oh, let's just go look, and I end up buying stuff because I love our small businesses. We are very small business centric. We have First Friday, which supports all the small businesses every month. So that one really resonated with me. I hopped from like 8 different small businesses just in our downtown area. So it made it really easy. And a lot of people appreciated that video. I think I got the most engagement from that video. And then my other favorite one was the your ducks in a row. Like that was just fun. I
Okay.
went
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
St. Augustine. We had a drink at this duck place, and they had all these ducks that you could buy, thousands of them. So I went and bought like 15 of them just for this video.
And again, for those listening who have no idea what we're talking about right now, there's this platform video script that we just call Ducks in a Row,
Yep,
and it's kind of just a dumb, funny. It's cute, really. That's probably the right word. It's a cute video that you use like ideally like yellow rubber ducks, and we have this script about, hey, I'm a real estate agent. If you're thinking about buying or selling, I'll help you get your ducks in a row, and then we list out all these things that the realtor helps you do. And then usually what most agents do in this video script is someone off camera is like throwing you ducks. And as you list them off, you're catching these ducks that are thrown at you, something to that effect. So it's kind of just a cheesy, cute video that grabs people's attention on social media because it's not the typical thing you'd expect from a realtor,
that's right.
right? It doesn't look like an ad because it's kind of just so ridiculous, but it grabs people's attention and it makes it, kind of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And so you said you had a sales meeting this morning or yesterday or
It was
something
this
where
morning.
where a lender was at your brokerage and
Yeah.
actually said, "Oh, I see you every day on
Yeah, so
Facebook."
every month we have a sales meeting, and we typically will invite like a lender or a photographer or some type of vendor to come to our sales meeting because we've got 25 agents, and who I use may not work for the next agent. So it's not like you work for me, you have to use my same vendors.
Sure,
We bring
sure.
in different people, whether I jive with them or not, someone else may. And that helps the business. So they come in, local lender, and he goes to talk about, Facebook and getting to know people. And he says, yeah, every time I open up Facebook, all I see is Kymerlee music everywhere. So it's working. And I've never met him. So, and I really didn't even know we were friends on Facebook. And I hate to say that, but I didn't.
Yeah, and that's what's powerful is that yes, using the platform strategy can uh help you stay top of mind with people who already know you. And that's frankly where I think a lot of our clients get the strongest, most obvious ROI is that they're just constantly top of mind with their sphere in a way that they weren't before. Maybe they thought they were staying top of mind with their sphere, but once they've been in platform and working the platform system for 6, 12 months, they realize, oh, this is a whole new level of
Right.
staying top of mind, right? And you get way more referrals too, the more you stay top of mind. But that's pretty cool that you've been able to track, hey, even people who don't know me are saying that they see me all the time on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So you're on pace, you said, to do, Kim, about 20 million this year.
Yes.
And I want to just draw attention to that, how impressive that is that you're selling that much while you're building, a team and really, well, a brokerage. And your team is on pace to sell how many homes again?
We just met our halfway goal, a little over it, but 220 homes as a brokerage and about 60 million in volume.
Total. And is that 60 million? So really your team is selling about 40 million and then you're selling about 20. Okay. That's very obviously very, very impressive that you even have time to manage all that and still sell $20
I've
million.
got good
What?
support staff. I've
Yeah.
got my sister-in-law Hannah, who's been my assistant for 4 years, 3 years, and she handles everything contracts, which allows me just to be the face with my clients. So she handles the lenders and the attorneys and everything. And then I've got a couple other systems that handle like just the broker's social media and just be there for the agents for questions and stuff like that.
What is at like the at kind of the corporate level, what are your income and expenses look like? Because obviously, I'm assuming when you're running that large of a brokerage platform is not the only marketing you're doing. Is there other marketing that you guys are doing to help drive business, drive leads?
Yep. So we do pay for a lot of leads. I pay for Realtor.com leads. I'm looking at making the switch over to Easy Home leads. But I really, really coach and mentor all of my agents on how to convert those leads because every lead has a different DNA. Zillow, Realtor, Homes, sphere of influence, platform marketing leads. Each one has a different DNA. So I've dissected the DNA to be able to convert at a higher level. We do have one billboard. Honestly, the billboard does nothing. Platform really has taken place of that billboard, so that's going as soon as I can. But as far as just the business expenses for marketing, the biggest thing is Facebook and paid leads and getting out there in the community and hosting those client appreciation events. Those have really helped as well.
What are you doing in terms of the client appreciation events?
So last year we did photos for Mother's Day. We did Mother Day photos where I booked a photographer and they just did like a Google sign up form and my photographer took all the photos and it was like 15-minute slots for the mothers. And we dished those out for Mother's Day. And then we just did a Summer Splash Client Appreciation Bash where we booked out all of Summer Waves Water Park for 2 hours in the evening. And I expected between 50 and 100 clients to come. We had over 400 people show up.
Wow. So you had 400 people at a client
Yeah.
appreciation event?
Yeah, it was like my first big client appreciation event. So
Wow.
I said 50 to 100 because I have 200 past clients, but I opened it up to my agents to be able to invite their friends, family, past clients, and vendors. We had over 400 show up. So it was a big event. Matter of fact, I'm getting all of that video footage over to you guys to help me dish out a marketing video for that.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be an amazing retargeting ad. So how much did you spend on putting on an event like that? Because I think that's what a lot of people listening are
Oh,
probably wondering.
yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. But how much did you spend on that
Yeah,
event?
so I'm not a gatekeeper by any means. I will share anything and everything, but it was $5,000 to book the whole park, and it's after hours, so it's 6:30 to 8:30, which made it so nice. There was no lines, the bugs weren't bad, you didn't have to worry about sunscreen, and the heat was like non-existent. It was super relaxed. So it was about $5,000. Larry's Giant Subs stayed open, so as long as the clients ate $300 worth of food, we didn't have to recoup that expense. So $5,000 flat. I do expect that event alone to bring us a return on our investment by at least 7 to 10 times more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and obviously I'm all for tracking, and I think business people should, of course, always be aware of
Mm-hmm.
their numbers and everything. But when you do large social events like that or marketing that's kind of like brand focused where it's designed to just give people warm fuzzies,
Yep.
it's like we're not trying to generate leads here, we're not trying to set appointments or anything like that. It's just
Being
having
authentic.
yeah, just having a positive experience with people where they have a positive experience with your brand. It's hard to capture what exactly is the ROI of that and put that on a spreadsheet,
You
but like
can't.
just common sense tells you that if you have 400 people hang out with you at a private water park and you're getting FaceTime, like in
Mm-hmm.
person with that many people, and it only costs you $5,000,
Yeah.
like obviously that's going to be a good investment long
I mean,
term.
the smiles alone and just everybody just, being just so thankful. And I said, well, I'm thankful you guys are here because now you've gained mind share, not just market share. So gaining the mind share of the community is huge too because when someone says, oh, I'm looking to buy or sell, one of those 400 people could be like, oh, Music Properties Group booked out a whole water park for us. You should absolutely use them. So it's just the mind share aspect.
And one thing we always say at Platform is that yes, Platform, gets you clicks, gets you leads, blah blah blah. But one of the cool things that Platform does that I think not a lot of other marketing strategies do is it makes all the other marketing you're doing more effective.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the platform leads or the platform messages or phone calls you might get. It's that if you're doing other things like events, right, you can use the platform marketing strategy to extract more value from those events. Because in this example, by the way, this is one of the coolest like client appreciation events I think I've ever heard of. You've got 400 people to come. I mean, that's badass. But if there's 400 people who showed up, it's like, well, cool. Those 400 people obviously had a really high quality experience with you and they will remember that. But if it ends there, it's kind of a missed opportunity. So I'm glad that you took some photos, videos of the event, because now we can edit that,
Mm-hmm.
turn that into a retargeting ad.
Yep.
And that retargeting ad will probably be seen, not by 400 people, but by 40,000
Yep.
people. So it basically multiplies the value of what you're getting by that event by a factor of 100,
Mm-hmm.
because if 40,000 people see that ad again versus the 400 people who showed up live, that means that you're getting a way greater return on investment from the $5,000 you spent on the additional event, because now that all of that, those vibes, right, are
Oh
seen
yeah.
by 40,000 people. And so I think a lot of agents don't think of that. It's like, look at all the other things you're doing in your life and ask yourself, how can I get more traction and more value out of this by turning this into a retargeting ad? Um, and then those expenditures actually become a lot more interesting. It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I thought that spending a couple thousand on this client appreciation event or whatever um, was maybe a good investment. Maybe it wasn't. But it's like, well, if 50,000 people see it or 100,000 people see it, like I think your God made a small business owner video, just, as an example, you mentioned
It
that it's
blew
got
up.
like, yeah, it's got like 100,000 views or something like that.
Well, it's like that $5,000 if you think about it. Agents, and one of my good friends, TJ Cheek, said agents are stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. Imagine all the money that you've spent on just crap, right? Let's be frank, just crap stuff, crap leads, crap systems, whatever it may be. You've stepped over your dollars to pick up the dimes. But if you spend that one time $5,000 on the event and you net another $80,000 from that event because you've got the listing and you've got that buyer and you've got that sister who bought, with us before, now you're picking up the dollars. You're no longer stepping over the dollars to pick up the dimes. So to me, that was very vital: is stop with the shiny objects and let's do something that's going to make a difference.
And again, clearly what you're doing is working because you've built all this business in less than 5 years. Like less than 5 years ago, you were a full time
Paramedic.
paramedic, and now you're making, or you're selling $20 million a year worth of homes. Plus, your team is selling another 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
And less than 5 years ago, you were a full time paramedic. So you've built this brand and this team and this business essentially from scratch, very, very, very quickly. And obviously, 5 years ago that was basically 2019,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I had a newborn baby. He was 6 months old when I started on this endeavor. I'd carry him on my hip to all my showings. And I would tell my clients, like, look, I know I met you online, but my kid's coming with me. If you don't like it, we are not a good fit. 9 times out of 10, they were perfectly fine with me having Lewis with me, my son. So with the twins, it's a little different. I leave them at home with Granny.
But you've built all this in 5 years, and I want to say this in case someone's listening to this podcast episode, let's say like five years from now, that the 5 years that you've built your business from scratch have basically almost all been during the COVID lockdown era.
Oh, yeah.
So the real estate market has been crazy up and down and unpredictable and volatile over the last 5 years, and yet you still built this thriving business. So I think that really speaks to the effectiveness of what you've been doing, that not only have you grown your business to this point, but it didn't take you 10 years or 15 years. You did it all inside of the 5 years. That's really impressive. So I know you're a straight shooter. I am too. So let me ask you like a bold question.
Yeah.
And hopefully you say something good about platform here, because this isn't a scripted interview. So we'll see. But if you don't, we won't edit it. It won't be censored.
That's
So
fine.
what have been the investments you've made, whether they're marketing or otherwise? Could be a CRM, could be any sorts of other software, or just anything you've paid money for, I guess, in real estate. What would you say were the worst investments you've ever made where you spent money and it didn't work? And then what are some of the good ones that you've spent money and you're like, yeah, this has really been great?
So I kind of am going to like flip flop. So I spent money on follow up balls and I've loved it. But this new shiny object came my way and it was Sierra CRM, and it's just the IDX website. So I dropped follow up balls, spent $15,000 on Sierra, and quickly learned within 3 months, because I give everything 3 months, right? 3 months. If it's not working out, I cut it.
Woo, that's actually really good because you're 8 months into
Yeah.
platform. So that means that we survived.
Y'all survived. So I spent that money, and I lost out. I lost out on all that money. I went right back to Follow Up Boss. Follow Up Boss has been amazing. I have all my platform marketing leads funneling into Follow Up Boss, and we just rock and roll that way. That is definitely one investment I will say I kick myself in the butt for. And there's several others like lead generation systems where they promise you the moon and the stars and they don't deliver on their promise.
Would you mind sharing what those are if you've spent money on other lead gen systems that?
One, I wish I remember the names, but one was like you've got to pay $3,000 to get in, and then we deliver you 20 seller leads a month, and they're guaranteed good quality seller leads. And at the end of the day, they were crap. I can't tell you how many times I have been on like giving them a call, and I get the big FU and hang ups and the
Yeah.
FaceTimes with somebody doing inappropriate, explicit stuff on the other end, and just all kinds of wild stories I could tell you.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's not happening with your platform
No,
marketing.
platform marketing hands down has been phenomenal. I have loved it. I love the Facebook side of things. So I was really drawn to the fact that you did Facebook ads because I was looking for someone to do that. And Kara came my way and Kara said they manage them for you. And I was like, oh, I like that. I don't have to do it myself. So you mean to tell me I just give them the stuff and they push it out for me? And I was sold.
Yeah, and Kara, who's also been interviewed on this podcast, I think her business has basically doubled over the last
It
year since
has.
she hired platform. So
She's scaled it.
she's now started to build a team. I know she's got some admin support and adding agents. I mean, she's
That was her biggest fear was adding agents. And I said, girl, just do it. Just do it. If it don't work out, fire them.
yeah. I mean, it's a that simple. And you have to invest in the admin support too. Like I know you mentioned you have several people at your brokerage that aren't necessarily producing agents, they're admin support. And that's so essential because I think often agents think, oh, I want to scale, I want to leverage my time. You know, everyone uses the leverage word because they
They
think it
do.
sounds cool. And uh, they start building a team of, buyers agents or whatever. And it's like, before you take on the headache of having a team, because let's be honest, it is a headache, it adds a lot of extra
It
work,
is.
right? Why wouldn't you just hire an admin, a support person, like whatever you want to call it, right? A transaction coordinator, full time assistant, executive assistant, whatever word you want to use, right? Hire some sort of full time person and absolutely max out your own personal production because I think what a lot of agents don't realize is that they could make more money by being the top producing version of themselves by having a full time assistant. Maybe you pay that assistant even 50 grand a year, 60 grand a
That's
year. Like
right.
I'm not saying you hire someone for $12 an hour, right? Hire someone good, pay them well, and that might allow you to make $400,000, $500,000 a year rather than what I often see is agents have their first year where they sell 8 million, 10 million, and they're like, I'm going to build a team. And then all of a sudden they have a team of 4 people and their production is 15 million. And it's like, dude, you could have got to 15 million by yourself without a team of 4 people.
Right.
You're now worse off than you were
Some
before.
people are not meant to be leaders. Some people just aren't. And I brought Hannah on as a solo, and I had her for almost 2 years. And then I decided to build a team within EXP. It was me and my husband. Then I added on a good friend of mine and my sister in law. And from there, we realized EXP was no longer a good fit. And that's when, while pregnant with twins, I took the leap of faith and started up the brokerage. But I had the support and the systems and the foundation laid before I made that leap. And I know I was good at leadership because I was a paramedic preceptor and a captain. And I already had that experience behind me to be able to lead people in the most traumatic scenarios possible. But I just re rolled that into my business of real estate.
Yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day, all that leadership is, I mean, I know there's been like tens of thousands of books written about leadership and everyone has their own definition, whatever, but leadership is really just the courage to make difficult decisions
Mm-hmm.
and have difficult conversations with people. That's it.
That's
It's
right.
just those two things. If you can do those two things, you can lead any organization or business. So it actually makes sense that your experience as a paramedic has translated so well into real estate because you were doing those two things. You were making tough decisions and having tough conversations. And that's what you have to do to lead any other
That's right.
organization. So I want to ask you a couple questions about your business model, how you've set up your brokerage, Kymerlee. how much are you spending every month on the brokerage, just total? So like you have an office, you're paying office rent, I'm assuming. What are the total marketing costs, or how much money do you have to have coming in every month before you break even?
So I'm very transparent. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'll say that time and time again. So business expenses are about 30,000 a month flat, anywhere between 30 and 32,000. So that's paying my admin staff. That's power. That's the printer. That's the business, the marketing, the leads, the systems. Systems are a big component. And that's mine and Dylan's pay too. We only take a $500 check every week a piece, and that's what shows up on our W 2s. And then the business gets the rest. And then we are able to take owner's draws if we need it. We try to operate within our means, though, as far as our personal expenses.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so the agents, starting a business, you're never in the green right off the rip. So we have been in the trenches, and I'm finally starting to see that tip of the iceberg, where I am finally seeing like the light at the end of the tunnel. It's been hard. It's been very, very hard. Not only being a mom to new twins and building a new brokerage, but just in general, just building out the brokerage and finding the financial aspect to be able to survive without the doors closing. If I was not selling, these doors would have shut a long time ago. But now we're starting to see that tip of the iceberg where agents are bringing in enough to cover those business expenses now. We're
Right.
not
Right.
consistent yet month over month, but it's been 2 months where we haven't been consistent. But outside of that, we've made the mark.
In a your market, I would imagine that every month, then, if it's costing about $25,000-$30,000 a month to run the brokerage, just in terms of your monthly expenses you have, whether or not you sell a single house, right? You have these
That yeah, I
expenses.
have to pay those either way.
Yep. You probably need to sell what, 10, a dozen homes a month to like to.
Well, I've got 9 closings this month. It's about 2.9 million total in volume, which nets me about 64,000 in GCI.
Okay. Okay.
With that, and some of those are lots, so it's not like $2 million homes or anything. But the agents themselves are bringing in enough this month to cover those business expenses, so I'm able to put a reserve away and save some money to be able to survive the slow months coming up, if there are any slow months. I mean, it's about mindset,
Yeah.
really.
Right. Right. And more than likely, there won't be as slow months as we think, because I mean, at the time of this recording, obviously the future will dictate whether what I'm about to say was totally BS or not. But as of the time of this recording, I think we're likely to get interest rate cuts at some point in the next 6 months,
I have
and
a feeling
obviously,
COVID market's coming back.
yeah, that will give a tailwind to the real estate market if rates come down. I mean, again, as of this recording, most people are getting interest rates somewhere between 6.5 and 7.
Yep.
And I think the market will really open up if we can get interest rates back into the mid to upper fives.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest misconceptions is that we don't need rates in the fours again to get the real estate market moving. They just need to be low enough to where if someone currently has a 3.5 or a 4% rate,
Yep.
that they're comfortable eating the difference between, okay, my current rate is whatever 4%. I'm willing to go to a 5.5 or even a 5.75, but I'm not willing to go from a 4 to a 7.5.
Right.
Right. So it just needs to be low enough to where the average person can stomach that difference, even though it's not ideal. They can absorb it, and then I think the market will open up again in a major way, and you'll see a lot more people willing to buy and sell real
That's
estate. So
right.
hopefully that starts happening in the next 6 months. As of right now, all the economic data is pointing in that direction. So that's a good thing. So I mean, if you've built your business and you're getting to the point where, hey, it's profitable beyond your personal production. Obviously, your personal production is making you a lot of money, but
Well, it's give or take. The brokerage is taking a lot of that personal,
sure, right, right.
but we're getting to a point now where it's income finally.
Yeah, that's actually funding the brokerage, exactly. But if you've been able to do that in the down economy, and I mean, real estate transactions over the last couple of years are, in a cumulative sense, down almost 50%.
Well, I've stayed consistent year over year, and I've
Yeah,
slowed down on my production. I feel like I could have done 30 or 40 million as a solo, but I'm building the brokerage, and that takes a lot of time from me going out and marketing myself. But platform marketing has helped me leverage my time.
yeah, and I think just to kind of like land the plane here, the type of marketing you do is so important if you're building a business the way that you are, because your time is obviously limited. You're not only an entrepreneur, but you're also, a wife and a mother, and you have kids at home, and you don't have time to just follow up with 200 or 500 leads a month and cold call and text and email. Like, you don't have time for that,
No,
right? Even if they were good leads, you don't have time for that, because it's a literal hours in the day problem, right? So the only marketing that makes sense, even if the leads were good, that doesn't really work. Like, what the marketing has to do is actually convince the warm leads to call you.
that's right.
Because if they reach out to you, messaging you, calling you, texting you, emailing you, whatever, then it's scalable with your time. Because then, okay, yeah, I can take on more clients, I can grow my business if the warm leads are just coming to me,
That's
right?
right.
But if you have to go follow up and sift through 100 leads to find the one good one who's actually serious, even if it results in a closing, it's like, it's not worth your time, because time is the one thing you can't get more of. That's the paradox I've observed over the last 10 years that we've been running platform,
That's right.
is that usually when you get, it's slightly different in every market because it depends on your price point, but a good average is that when most agents get to about 25 transactions a year, usually that's the tipping point, around 25 transactions, where they have money but they no longer have time, because the
Right.
time it takes to work those 20, 25, 30 transactions, they have money to spend on marketing, but now they don't have any time, and they get in this trap, and I see people plateau at 25 transactions a year, 30 transactions a year, again, because they have money, so they're throwing money at realtor leads or Zillow leads or platform leads or Google pay-per-click or whatever,
Right.
right? But they don't have time to follow up. And so unless you structure your marketing in such a way where what you're really doing is building a brand and leads are coming to you,
Right.
not the other way around, you will never break through that plateau of, doing 20, 25, 30 deals a year. The people who have successfully gotten to 40, 50, 60 transactions a year have gotten through that plateau, because I'm assuming in your case, it's like, well, people are calling you, not the other way around.
Right. And I still go out there and hunt. I still prospect and call my Z buyer leads. It's another one for sellers. I've listed quite a few of those, and then I still comb through my database. But I did just hire on an ISA who is newly licensed, and we've worked out to where if she converts them, it's 10% bonus. She is licensed, so I can pay her that bonus. And then if it's in a certain parameter, and I do the showing and everything, I'm able to either split it 50-50 or give her 10% bonus for conversion. So that's helped a ton with going through like the platform marketing leads. I've got over probably 400 of them in 8 months. So, and we've converted several of them.
And I'm imagining above and beyond the leads, because we always tell people, even upfront, if you're doing like a sales call with us, like, the reason you hire platform isn't the leads,
Right.
because you can get leads anywhere.
That's right.
If you just want a bunch of leads, I would tell people sign up for Realtor.com or Zillow or something, because anyone can get you leads. Leads are the easy part
That's
of
right.
marketing, right?
Converting them is the hard part.
Yeah, it's staying top of mind with those leads, where they say, "Oh, I see you all over Facebook," or the moment you go on a listing presentation, all the Zillow leads or Realtor.com leads in the world won't help you when you're on a listing presentation, and then the seller asks you, "Hey, so what are you going to do for me that other realtors can't? Like, why should I pick you instead of the other people I'm interviewing?" That's when your marketing actually gives you an edge, because now you have something to say to that seller of, "Hey, here's actually what I do differently from other agents." Have you had that happen yet, where people said, "Oh, I want to work with you because of your marketing"?
Yeah, I actually had a seller call me. They said, "We keep seeing your videos on Facebook when I started platform." And they just kept saying, "We just kept seeing them. We loved your personality. We love that you had like a professional but unprofessional vibe about you. So just being a human, right? Let's just say it. You're just being human in yourself." That they hired me for the job. They said they had spoken to one other realtor, and I don't like to talk bad about any realtors in our market, but they just said that they were dry. They were just stale. They didn't put much marketing effort. They looked through their Facebook and didn't see much activity as far as real estate goes. So they hired me because of my video aspect and just being human and fun and personable.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, people want to work with someone that they just emotionally connect
That's
with.
right.
No one wants to admit that. Like we all want to think that, oh, people are making these super logical, rational decisions, and everyone has a spreadsheet and they're keeping track of how many Zillow reviews that Kymerlee has versus the other agents, or no one is tracking your sales production or how many listings you had, or no one look even reviews. Like no one is really doing detailed research on that. It's usually a quick yes
Glance.
or no. Yeah, someone's going to Google you and then they'll see, oh, does she have some reviews? So I know she's legit, not a serial killer. Okay, she has some reviews. I think she's real. And then they'll look at your marketing. They'll see if you're on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, etc. And if they just at kind of a primal gut level, if they emotionally connect with you and they like the vibe, right, they'll work with you. And that's actually how they make their decision.
That's
It's the
right.
vibe, right? We can tell ourselves all day long that, oh, people are doing deep Google research and they're looking up Zillow reviews and they're looking up my production number. It's like, no, they're not.
No, they're not.
They are going by their even referrals don't do that. People go by the vibe, right? So your marketing, therefore, should be about those things. Your marketing should be more about the vibe and your personality than it should how many homes you sold last year, how many transactions you have, or what dumbass awards you've won.
I'm right there with you. I tell people, I'm like, quit posting. Oh, just sold. Look at me. Like the brokerage page can post that. But instead of just posting
Right.
it, just sold.
Right.
Look at me. Why don't you post a picture of you out front of the house and say, oh my God, I just helped my sellers sell their home. Now they're moving to whatever with their kids and they get to move on to this next chapter and have their baby and be around family. Like tell the story. Don't just look at me. I sold another house.
What's a what's an example of like a small business highlight ad you've done with platform, like with your retargeting ads, that like what's one of your favorite ads you've done to promote a local small business besides the God Made a Small Business
So
ad
I
video?
would say no filter aesthetics. So yes, I do get a little bit of Botox here and there. I don't go fake, right? I just medical maintenance of my face. So I did no filter aesthetics and I posted like a before picture with all my wrinkles and then a picture of her doing it. And then in the comments, I put like the after results. And I can't tell you how many people called, comment, and messaged me about, oh my God, who do you go see? You look fantastic. They did a good job. You don't look fake. You don't look botched. And everyone just wanted to know. So I always say real estate's a funnel. You want to bring people into the top of the funnel. And that's what platform marketing does. Is you bring them to the top of the funnel, become relatable, then they realize, oh, she's in real estate. That's pretty cool. And then when they do start getting that idea in their head, like, I'm curious what it would be like buying or selling, they will come to you because now you've gained the mind share just from being relatable with your small businesses and stuff like that and loving on the community.
Uh, Final question, Kimberly. If someone was watching this and either they're thinking about signing up for platform and they haven't yet for whatever reason, they're doing research, they're just not sure, it's too expensive, or I just don't know what it is, like they're kind of just not sure what they want to do, or if someone's listening to this and maybe they signed up for platform 6 months ago but they haven't yet seen like the case study type of results, they haven't doubled their business or whatever, what would you tell someone who's listening to this, just to give them some encouragement? Because obviously you've seen some pretty stressful, traumatic situations over your career. um, what perspective or encouragement would you give someone listening to this who's just kind of in like a rut right now in their business?
So the biggest thing, if they're in a rut right now, first thing I would want to look at is self. Where are you at in yourself? Like, are you making it a point to take care of yourself? Go to the gym for 1 hour a day, take that walk, read that book, right? You got to be happy with yourself before you'll see production. And then I would look at, someone who maybe is considering platform. First thing I would say is just do the damn thing. Just do it, right? Jump full force, get with your marketing person, do the ads. Someone who's in platform marketing that maybe has hit that rut where they aren't seeing, the return on their investment or it's very fuzzy. Are you doing the ads? Are you being original? Are you doing things that's authentic to you? Or does it seem like you're having to force yourself to do what your marketing person's telling you to do? I've had to apologize to Allie a few times, like, Allie, like, I haven't done it. And I have seen like the lack of people saying, oh my God, I haven't, seen me on Facebook. Whereas when I'm putting the marketing materials out and I'm listening to my marketing person telling me to do the stuff weekly, and I actually do it, I see people more engagement. They're like, hey, I see you all over Facebook. It's the funniest. Sorry. is to pick my son up from his first day of school. My husband's on the way. So, anyways, but no, if you're in a rut, first thing I would ask is, are you doing the marketing materials? If you're currently with Platform, if you haven't joined Platform and you are a go getter and you are ready to jump in feet first, do the damn thing. Just do it.
And will I see you at the mastermind
You
this
will.
year?
I'm bringing my husband too. It's gonna be fun.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's in November.
Yep,
Well, actually, I'll see you in a couple weeks
that's
here.
right. We've got a class. I've got 4 people signed up. I got to push it out a little bit more for you.
Cool. Cool. Well, I look forward to joining you for that. And then obviously we'll see you at the Platform Mastermind in November. Thank you for your time today. Kim, I think this was an awesome episode. You've built something really, really impressive
Thank
in a
you.
short period of time. So it's going to be pretty cool to see where your business goes 6 months from now, a year from now, and beyond. Because clearly you've got some pretty serious momentum. So thank you for being a member of the platform. Thank you for referring us people. I know that you've been a happy client. You've told other people that. And so thank you for all that. And again, I'll see you at the mastermind.
See you at the mastermind. Thank you, Tim.